Welcome back to another video. This is a Bradford City manager ranking video, the top 10 favourites to take over the Bradford City managerial position. Now in number 10 it's mainly joint 10th because they're both the least unlikeliest. These two managers have basically no chance of being the new manager. Jonathan Woodgate and Grant McCann, they have no chance because they're never going to take the job after being sacked in the Championship. Now Grant McCann did really well. I like him as a manager. He did really well at Doncaster and Peterborough, and followed it up at Hull, winning the League One with them. So I don't see why a League One winning manager would want to drop down to a mid-table team in League Two. Same with Jonathan Woodgate, got Bournemouth into the playoffs, but it didn't do well at Middlesbrough. However, at Middlesbrough, it didn't go well, and then Bournemouth, he regained his reputation, and clubs will be after him. It might take a while for that, but he won't take this downward step to a League Two club. I can't see that happening. So they're basically joint 10th. In 8th, I've got Pete Wild at Halifax. It's quite likely that it'll happen, but like Luke Gerrard at Bournemouth, both managers aren't used to big expectations, and both managers, it's hard to tell how good they're doing because they're in the first real jobs. I know Pete Wild took over Oldham as a caretaker, I'm pretty sure, but they're both doing really good jobs at teams who haven't got a big expectation. I'd probably have to put Gerrard in 7th just because he's doing a slightly better job with Bournemouth, as they could go top of the league of the National League, and they beat Bournemouth in the FA Cup. So, but both mainly joint 8th because both, like Derek Adams, in the aspect of neither used to be expectations at a football club like Bradford City. So then we'll go to 6th. Robbie Fowler. Now, it's hard to grasp how good he is as a manager. We all know how good he is as a player, but we're not getting Robbie Fowler the player, of course. But he will be able to attract good players, and I think that's one of the positives with Robbie Fowler, is that players will want to come and play for Bradford City like they already do because of the fan base and the stadium. But he'll be able to attract players because players will want to play under a Premier League legend like Robbie Fowler. And he might be able to attract good loan players from Liverpool and Leeds and areas like that. So that's one positive, but negatives are he's managed teams who no one can really grasp how good they are. He did an okay job at Brisbane Roar, but he left because of coronavirus to go back to England with his family. And then he went to an Indian team. Really, if Robbie Fowler wanted a career in management, he probably should have started in League Two, but instead he's took that step abroad in teams where no one can really know how good he is. He's also into properties, Robbie Fowler. He owns half of Liverpool, so is he really up to be a manager? And how much is his mind in the job at Bradford City? So then in 5th, I've got Lee Johnson. He's a very controversial manager, is Lee Johnson, and I don't think it's very likely that it's going to happen anyway. But he's like Derek Adams in his character as a person. He's also made big decisions, like Derek Adams has over his career. Now, Sunderland fans were very divided over the decision of the sacking of him at Sunderland, like our fans were with Derek Adams. A lot wanted him gone because of his arrogance and how he's cost the club with big decisions he's made. But a lot wanted to keep him because he was doing a good job. They were 3rd in League One, but really probably should have been doing better over his tenure at the club. So for that reason alone, I don't really want him because I don't want to move away from Derek Adams. I don't really want a manager like that. And he hasn't really done a good job at Sunderland over his years there. In 4th, I've got Steve Evans. I don't want Steve Evans because the fans, it'll be another divided situation where a lot of fans don't want a manager like Steve Evans, who's aggressive on and off the pitch. He's very, very controversial with what he's done in the last decade. Obviously, what happened 10 years ago when Quali played Bradford City. I'm not going to go into it, but that's why we can't go for Lee Evans, because the minute he starts to lose a couple of games or the football ain't great and we aren't winning, the fans won't get behind him, and it'll be like a Rafa Benitez situation at Everton where it starts to go wrong and then they want him out and it turns very, very sour. So he's a manager who I think we should stay away from. However, he went to the game on Saturday and he spoke good of Bradford City in the past, but his his personality and what we should be going towards, really, we should be staying clear of it, because we want to be inclused in the club and we don't want to be divided anymore. And going for a manager like that will just make us even more divided than we were over Derek Adams. In third, I've gone with, well, Richie Wellens is in the top 10. Now, if we get Richie Wellens at Swindon, then I'd like him. I really would want him. But then at Salford, I can give him the benefit of the doubt with that, because Salford sack managers very quickly, like we do. So maybe he's thinking, oh, I'll stay away from that because of what happened at Salford. But then he got the big job at Doncaster in League One, made a step up, and failed. It was a Donny disaster for them. Obviously, he left then they were bottom of the league. And I think if we get Swindon, Richie Wellens, then it would work out and it'd be a good appointment. But are we going to get the Doncaster appointment where he don't work out and we end up having to sack another manager? But he's young and hungry, and I won't be against it, unlike Steve Evans, because I think if he loses a couple of games, the fans might give him the benefit of the doubt. Whereas if Steve Evans or Lee Johnson lose a couple of games, their personality the fans won't really welcome. In second place then, I've got Neil Warnock. Now, it's one of those where will he be up for the challenge? Will he be up to come? And I think if we got Neil Warnock, it would probably be to the end of the season. Then it'd be an 18-month contract or a 12-month contract with him, where he's only here for the end of this season to see what he's working with and then to get us promoted. It's a very, very short-term deal, but I think if we can get him, it probably would work out and the fans would be on board. His character would probably pull us all together at this tough time for City, where we're stuck in League 2 and we're hiring and firing, but it won't be long term, and that's the reason where I'm getting pulled away from it. But do we want long term or do we want short term? Do we want to be in League 1 as quick as possible, or do we want to risk a few years longer in League 2 but have a plan? And that's why my number one is undecided. Now, you could get Mark Truman, or you could go for Martin Jury in the academy, who's doing very well at the minute, but not proven, no experience, either as Mark Truman. Or you could go for Luke Gerrard or a Pete Wild, who's young and in the National League and doing well. But we need a structure, and that's up to the board. That's up to Ryan Sparks mainly, to figure out what is this plan, what is the long-term plan for this football club. Are we just going to keep hiring and firing until it works? Are we just going to go for experienced managers who know the league that we're in? Or are we going to go for a young and hungry manager who wants to push us on and push his own career on, but with this football club? And one who understands the expectation and understands how the fans feel game in, week out. And for me, that's why I haven't really chosen a number one, but the number one is what we need. We need it because there's no one standing out. When you're looking on social media, there's not one manager who the fans are all going, we've got to push everything, we've got to get him, he's the man to take us forward. There's not one manager who does that. So that's when you feel, was the Derek Adams sacking rushed? Should have been given to the end of the season, then sack him, and then see where we were at the end of the season, then getting a new manager. We need a plan. I'd like to see a manager in before the end of the season, but if he's at a club already at this moment of time, then we're not going to get one in before the end of the season. And it's going to be like Derek Adams, where Truman takes over to the end of the season, Truman tells him how the players are, and then the new manager has an input, and then it's this big secretive manager, and then he comes out walking out to Valley Parade, and then it's a manager who we don't all agree with. So it's one of those, isn't it? But I feel like the manager who we are going to get must be a long-term plan. Now let me know what you think, let me know who you want in the comments, and let me know who you think, let me know if you want short-term or long-term. So yeah. have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.